getting your next course sorted out a little bit, I wanted to, I guess, reintroduce everyone to Tommy Coombs. So he's our chef de cuisine at Driftwood. So we thought it was more appropriate for him to be doing the actual cooking because I'm a little bit rusty on some of this stuff. That's kind of a joke, but Tommy's been like a really huge part of Driftwood. We've been open for about 6 years. It started off, it was myself, my wife, our sous chef, our opening sous chef, and one other cook. And then after multiple 100+ hour weeks and getting burnt out and all that sort of stuff, came COVID. So COVID allowed us to kind of like stop, reset, and really focus on our purpose and what we were doing, making sure what we were doing every day was what we really wanted to be doing, and how our actions, how the products we're purchasing, how that's affecting the bigger picture of things. Who are we supporting? I think it's important. A lot of chefs don't realize that they have a responsibility when they're purchasing product. Chefs for restaurants, especially busy restaurants, hotels, you are having a major impact on somebody. So I think it's we do take that seriously. We make sure that we are having a positive impact on the right people, and that because we are supporting whoever we're purchasing our products from, and we're supporting their ways of doing business and their ethics. So that's just something that we do take very seriously. And so with Tommy, when he came on board in 2020, the summer of 2020, and that was a big game changer for me, because no longer did I have to be the only person doing everything. Not literally everything, but Tommy really helped us, I guess, expand what we had started. He helped us be, we were able to, some of the things the ideas that I had, or that we had as a team that we wanted to get better at. It was just not really, for a long time, it just was very difficult to actually make happen. So, me personally, and also Driftwood as a restaurant, as a business, Tommy has had a huge impact, and we definitely would not be where we are today without him. So we are very grateful to have him here. And honestly, the stuff that he comes up with in the kitchen, I hate to say it, but sometimes my head gets pulled in so many different directions. It's great to have somebody that can really focus on the food, really make sure, sometimes like I lose track of things because I have to worry about the bills and, the drain backing up and the toilet and, whatever else ends up happening. So, so with Tommy, it's been great to have him being really able to just focus on the food. And, he gives me most of my ideas from him. So, he's going to get started very shortly. I think we're going to demonstrate that pickling liquid we were talking about. And again, keep an open mind. You can pickle anything. That's a great way of preserving. You can even pickle little bits of leftovers. If you're cutting something for a recipe, if you have some onions, some shallots, some garlic, whatever, you can pickle that. And then save it up. It's preserved. Use it for something else. Use it in, save it up to where you get enough to make a salsa or whatever it might be. So yeah, we hope that some of these recipes and these demonstrations can really help you. We want you guys to be able to utilize them, be able to actually use it for whatever works best for you. So I'm going to let Tommy take over now, and we have some amazing blackfin tuna coming up for your next course. So I hope you all enjoy.
Hello, how's it going? Nice to see some familiar faces. Some of you from the last couple of years. So thank you guys for coming back out to support again. And as Chef was saying, we're going to do this nice blackfin tuna crudo. This time of the year, summertime, is really when the blackfin are most prevalent off of like Boynton Beach area, I guess the whole like Treasure Coast, Fort Lauderdale. So I'm trying to... Yeah, I mean, we try to get it as much as often. So this particular dish kind of came to me like spicy tuna, but make it Italian, right? Because Jimmy and I both have a lot of European kind of background to our cooking, a little bit of Asian. So kind of combined it. And the tuna specifically, like I was saying, it was like spicy tuna. So, which I know a lot of people kind of, I'm sure their first couple bites of tuna had a lot of spicy mayo. I don't know. I mean, mine, I could say for me. So it's almost like kind of nod to the tuna I ate in high school. as a kid, I guess you could say. Fennel. Fennel is great. In this dish, we have it. I like to use we actually started with the fennel in our garden at Driftwood. We were getting Diane's fennel as well, but this particular dish we were doing, we had a lot of fennel. It was kind of taken over, so I had to harvest a bunch of it. I'm going to show you what I do with it. We're going to make this pickling liquid. Again, so pickling liquid is like, you can change it up so many ways. You can really do whatever vinegar, whatever spices, whatever seasonings, sweeter, saltier, spicier, herbs. For the pickles for this one, I liked to do like some spicy oregano, definitely some garlic, fresh garlic in there. This recipe is just our one that I actually put in the Driftwood Drive, our pickle recipe, because it's something that Jimmy and I would just like make, that we want to make a pickle, we make it by eye really. But that's not very consistent when you start expanding, like when you're teaching people and they can't, So this is our recipe, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Getting the liquid on is the first thing you want to do if you want to be efficient. You don't want to spend all day, cut the fennel and start the liquid. And, I mean, you can, if you're at home, I guess, right? Totally. But it is also nice to let the liquid steep with your spices. This is like based off the recipe. Remember, I made the recipe, so. We can start toasting. Some coriander, you do have the recipe. Coriander, black peppercorns, whole, and celery seed. Chili flake as well. Just a little bit. Yeah, a little bit goes a long way. We actually use some garden chilies as well at the restaurant. We do like a little preserved pepper ferment that we'll like use to dash up a dish. Or we'll dry some out. That's kind of cool. That's one way. Like again, those really hot peppers. Like, what are you going to do in a dish sometimes, right? Really, you can't do too much with all that super hot pepper. So you just preserve it, and then you can use a little bit at a time as you go. It'll hold for almost as long as you really need it to. So we got a nice little light toast going on. You'll notice while you're doing it at home. So if you're on high heat like this, don't walk away. You do want to move it frequently. Honestly, in the oven, at a pretty low temperature is great, especially if you're just trying to relax. But we got a show going, so I'm going to go fast. Fast and hot. Salt, sugar. We have our vinegar. You like to use rice vinegar for our basic pickle liquid. To be honest, like whatever I'm working on, like any new dish, for example, we use some Jimmy Nardello pickle liquid. We had some local Jimmy Nardellos, and that's going to be in a dish you had today. That using the Jimmy Nardello, if you're not familiar, has a ridiculously cool flavor. It's not just like any basic sweet pepper. It's like fruity almost. So after we grilled those, pickled them, I'm now going to use that liquid for vinaigrettes or all kinds of things. Like this is going to be like a fennel vinegar almost, right? Sugar. You don't want it too sweet, too salty, just the right balance. I know that tastes good, I promise. All right, we're going to let that come up, and then like I said, we're going to steep it. We're going to turn it off, steep it. We'll start with the fennel. Now that our liquid's going, like I said, so I can the fronds on this dish, we got a lot from Diane. You can't, it's almost, I would say realistically at home, you can more make like a fennel top chimichurri or something like that. That would be a little more applicable to like a home cook. We were able to get like 10 pounds of fennel fronds, which then we were going to blanch, puree, and then we had the fennel frond puree on the tuna, and then the pickled fennel on that. So just like here, you have the fronds attached to the stalks. So kind of cool, kind of organic. And like you see me doing, just kind of chop it off. All right, our liquid's up. Like this is, like fronds is something I'm sure a lot of people just kind of throw out at home, right? So there we go. We have all of our fennel fronds. I'm going to take these back and put them in my puree for next week. How's it going over there, Chef?
It's coming along. You, everyone hungry? 5 minutes out.
That first course I'm gonna go back to that first course we were talking about, manchego and smoked onion. That's actually like a really cool combination. I think we like to use. We have these smoked onions. We do a smoked onion petal that we beer batter for a beef tartare. We garnish with manchego. You guys should come check it out. It's pretty cool. If you like that dip, kind of cool flavor profiles. So our liquid came up. I cut it off. It's steeping. We'll taste it. Yeah, I like it. And like Jimmy was saying, you can just really pickle anything. And it's a lot easier. Like even we have this cook that just started, and she was like, "Wow, I thought pickles took like a really long." No, it's really easy. It's the seasoned vinegar, just the right balance. You cut the veggies, certain things like the fennel. So in this scenario, fennel stalks can be pretty fibrous. So as we did here, we're gonna slice them against the grain, against the fibers, as you would like a steak. You can really have fun with it though. You can do like little diamonds if you want. The bulb is a little more versatile raw, I guess you could say, like I was saying. So we're going to slice this against the grain so that it, like the hot pickle liquid is going to cook it. And you can really do whatever you want with this. It can all go together. Different vegetables. I mean, actually, you could just throw, like carrot. You could throw carrots with this. You want them around like the similar size, though. Let me actually finish telling you about the tuna dish. So now that we've talked about the pickle, I'm still letting this steep, by the way. We got the pickles going, the fennel pickle, the fennel fronds, the spicy tuna part. So in this scenario, we started with like a Calabrian chili aioli. If you guys are familiar with Calabrian chilies, it's a chili from northern Italy. Usually comes preserved like in a jar in some oil. They have been salted and fermented slightly, so they're pretty preserved, really hot. In this scenario, we have some Kai Fresno peppers that we do a similar process with. We'll clean all the seeds out, we chop them up, we mix them with 3% salt, and we'll do about like a week-long ferment in a bag, a vacuum seal bag. It'll expand, and then it has, it builds fermenting besides preserving, it builds depth. And it's really like the easiest way to take an ingredient like a pepper and give it several dimensions, I guess is the best way to put it. So you're going to have something similar to a Calabrian chili, but it's a Kai Fresno. We're going to have the crispy garlic. So the crispy garlic, we actually demoed that last year. Maybe you guys should have came. It took 45 minutes. Yeah, I think I like ran out of things to talk about. Well, we were waiting, but the crispy garlic, I'll tell you guys real quick. It is, I mean, I'd much rather prefer to make it. In the restaurant, you usually have like a couple people you can rely on when you put it on the prep list to do it like really well. So keep that in mind. It is something that you need to be pretty attentive to, but it's not too complicated. You're going to take your garlic. You can buy peeled garlic for this. You want to trim off the brown little butt, the germ. You're going to, you can chop it by hand. I mean, you can slice it. To be honest, the more even the better. When when frying garlic, so that you don't have, I don't know if you guys are sure you've all burnt garlic once or twice. Everybody kind of knows. It comes out kind of bitter. So in this case, we processed it in the tabletop food processor. It is going to shrink a lot, like considerably. So don't go too small. You're going to bring it up to a boil. You're going to put it start it in a pot, cold water, bring it up to a boil, strain it, lay it out dry. We leave it overnight because we're usually doing like a large batch. So I like to do a 2-day process, so it's just a little bit drier. It fries up a little bit faster. But at home, you probably won't be doing a lot. I would maybe do at home like a cup and a half, if you want to have, it'll give you like half a cup yield probably. Lay it out dry on a paper towel, and then you're going to start it again in cold oil now instead of cold water. Cold oil, you're going to bring it up to like a nice rolling simmer. I wouldn't say like an aggressive boil. In this stage though, like when you start to cook, you need to start with a hot pan or your food's going to stick, right? It kind of works very similarly. At the beginning of the process, you want to kind of stir it almost nonstop. When you do have that kind of slight roll going, turn it down like medium-low heat. And then at that point, you'll just be looking for color and moisture level, like moisture content. So like a lot of bubbles means it's going to be a lot of water, because water, oil, you know what happens. Water comes out of the oil vertically. When you have that like nice, like golden, honestly, it can be really golden brown, like beautifully golden brown. If you don't see those bubbles, good to go. Strain it, lay it out on a paper towel, and you're good. It can tend to get like really dark. If it's too wet, it'll take a lot longer. The garlic will like kind of over caramelize a little bit. It's kind of fun. I really enjoy making it. It does taste a lot better than store-bought, in my opinion. And you guys are about to start eating it, so enjoy. Hope you guys are having a good time so far. Don't mind my awkward pauses. We don't do like scripts. We're trying to be like pretty casual, laid back. But
yeah, we were sitting next to the car and just like, all right, what do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
So,
but I think you guys seem cool, so it's all right. I'll try to like think of like stuff to
Yeah, we're not typically really speaking in front of large groups of people. So we're usually talking amongst each other or one or two other people. But just one note on this. But I know Tom mentioned the blackfin tuna. This is like the prime season right now for blackfin tuna. Usually it starts. I actually caught one myself about 3 weeks ago when I had a chance to go out fishing. But this is usually it starts late spring and then into the summertime. Like right now, they're just going crazy. Like we have people calling us nonstop. Hey, do you need tuna? Do you need tuna? Do you need tuna? And it's it's just one of those things where we try to do. I mean, seafood is a little different as far as preserving. Tuna, you definitely can. You can do stuff like we can cure it, confit it, stuff like that. But this is definitely that time of year where we're seeing a lot of blackfin tuna. So again, anytime there's like a really good local product available readily, and we have an opportunity to showcase it, we're going to be doing that. So this specific tuna was caught off of Fort Lauderdale. We have one of our fishmongers kind of goes all throughout Florida. He works with different boats. He also has boats and permits of his own. Yeah, we were lucky to get this beautiful tuna from Buddy. Buddy's his name. So I forgot. I didn't introduce Natalia. She's maybe behind the curtain right now, but so Natalia, she's been working with us for about almost like 2 years, about 2 years now. She's going to be graduating high school tomorrow. Yeah, at 7 in the morning. Yeah, I'm excited about it. But Natalia started with us as a food runner. She was helping running food and bussing tables, that sort of thing, and she wanted to start working in the kitchen. So we gave her, it may have been a little bit early, legally, but that's how my first kitchen job, I was working at a country club as a busboy when I was 14. They wouldn't let me move back to the kitchen. So I went and I pestered the macaroni grill manager to let me get a job. And then he finally, after a month of bugging him, he finally hired me. And then the country club allowed me to get a job in the kitchen. So I went through that struggle of not being old enough to do what I wanted to do. Oh yes, the tuna no tuna. Yes, so that we used instead of the tuna itself, we used some watermelon and daikon radish from the farm. So those are actually radishes with a little bit of salt, olive oil, and then we gave you the same sauces on there, so you can kind of get that same spicy tuna, spicy radish feel to it. Yeah, great, awesome, glad you enjoy it. One thing that Tommy did bring to Driftwood that was not present before he did come was the Asian accents, just so you know. A lot of his training, especially his higher end training, was at a restaurant called Crudo in the Hard Rock, in where is it, Dania? In the Hollywood Hard Rock, the big guitar hotel. So that was a lot of Tommy's training was there. So I have experience with limited Asian. I mean, I lived in Hong Kong for a year, and I do have experience with some cooking techniques and obviously flavors and different ingredients. But when Tommy started, that's when we definitely started adding a lot more of that Asian flair to it, as we call it.
That's when I had to figure out how to turn Asian food into Southern food. Because at first he was like, it was like, oh, that's basically the sound of certain things. You know, I had learned from, I don't know if any of you have ever been to Crudo at the Hard Rock, but it was pretty, it was like the Nobu or the Makoto. So the chefs that have worked for those chefs basically opened up Crudo. Crudo was like the new style Japanese concept. It was basically the first stage of the whole guitar tower thing. So I really did learn like a lot of authentic things about Japanese cuisine, and I honestly thought I was kind of gonna do it for a long time. I did like really try to soak up as much as I could. Sadly, it did not work out for me at the Hard Rock. It was a very special kind of thing. But I did. That's kind of around the time I met Jimmy, actually. Is when Valentino, Wondor East in Fort Lauderdale, we crossed paths there. When I left, and I didn't go to work there yet. When I left the Hard Rock, I did call him up to go work there, and he had went and opened Driftwood. So then I was at Valentino, Wondor for a few years, and then COVID happened, and then I got a text from Jimmy. So it all worked out. You know, it was cool. But yeah, so all I knew was like really authentic things and like the terminology and the words, like what it was supposed to be, like kind of less Americanized, and it just wasn't exactly the right fit. It took me about a year plus to figure out how to integrate that, and I was able to kind of rub off on Jimmy in that way. We did like with Diane's collard greens, we do a collard green kimchi. So using the southern ingredients, but with some Asian technique, and again to like preserve things, build depth. Make it to where we can use a local product year round. And I was able to do like a Korean pancake. Right now we have a pork chow for, sorry. I was like gonna go back and forth. So the Korean pancake was cool. We wanted to highlight an egg dish, but we were able to use local collard green kimchi instead of like Napa cabbage. And right now we're using the collard green kimchi in our pork jowl fried rice. So again, you have the fried rice that we use. We make like sushi rice, so we make like a seasoned vinegar that you would season your rice with. But we're using Carolina Gold rice for Marsh Hen Mills. So, like I said, it took me a little while to figure out how to get him comfortable with it, but we figured it out. Now how's the tuna so far? You guys enjoying that? Yeah. The flavor is likely from the liquid, like I was telling you about. This pickling liquid, I kind of went more like in an Italian direction, I guess you could say. I probably use a little bit of rosemary in there. We can finish this now too, by the way. I got everything I need. And we steeped, so we're good. The pickle. So we have our sliced pickle. You want to put it in a metal or glass container, preferably. That's what I like to do. I'm not a big, super hot plastic. You're going to get an appropriate strainer. Fine enough, to be honest, it's not going to catch my celery seeds. I didn't bring a fine enough strainer, but you can eat celery seeds, so that's okay. You'll find them in our fish dip, actually. So we're going to bring our liquid back up. We're going to pour it over this fennel. We're setting you up for the next course, which is pretty unique. I'm actually really curious as to how you guys are going to like this one. It would, like Jimmy was saying, we like to push the envelope a little bit on things that we haven't done sometimes. Particularly, like, I like to really push it. I like to make him uncomfortable.